Welcome to Financial Investing Radio, where you'll learn the secrets for consistent, high-probability returns in the financial markets for additional income to change your life. Grant applies consistent, high-probability trading systems for the financial markets. He's only recently started sharing these tried and true market secrets. As a gift to listeners, Grant is offering his roadmap to high-probability financial control. Go to financialinvestingradio.com and download yours today. Now, here's your host and trading veteran, Grant Larson.
Hey everybody, welcome to Financial Investing Radio. This is Grant Larson. It is so good to have back in the house. I can't believe she's done this for me. This is Chimene, the queen of mobile homes. And I think she's got her crown on today. From what I can tell, she's wearing a crown. I have been so impressed with her journey. Now, if you joined us in the recent episode where Chimene shared her backstory, the journey she went through, the challenges, the hurdles, the pure pull herself up by the bootstrap, that was a very impressive story. Now she's come all the way back here to tell us what she did to create this incredible system and solution that changed her life. And actually, just before we started this recording, Chimene was telling me about the impacts to the people. And I think that in the end, that's what matters, is that she's not only come up with this cool financial solution, but she's impacting people in a positive way and making a huge difference. Anyway, I'll take a breath. Chimene, welcome.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks for having me again.
It's so good to have you here again. It's just fantastic what you've been sharing. So, okay. All right. So a couple of things. You've been doing Queen of Mobile Homes and you're at almost 500 now, right? Deals that you've done somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Almost 500. So that's amazing. It's from here to Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Covering a wide range. All right. So what the listeners want to hear, what I want to hear, and others want to hear is, what little secrets can you tell us? What did you come up with to come out of this financial challenge environment that you came from and all the hard things? And then you I think if I remember, you sold some things to take some training in some real estate. I mean, you were hungry and you were committed, and now you've come up with this system, this solution for investing in mobile homes that most people don't even think about. Do tell.
Okay. So to leave off where I started the last time, so as everybody kind of knows my backstory already. So basically, I started wholesaling mobile homes. And again, let me reiterate that a true wholesale is an assignment agreement. And let me tell you, if anybody can check this out. When you close on a mortgage via Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Country Taunt, whatever it is that you have for a home mortgage, there is a piece of paper, a disclosure in there, and it says that you're going to give your okay, and they're going to be, as soon as the loan closes, they're going to be selling the loan or the note to another individual. So if you've ever had your mortgage company change 5 or 6 times because the payments are now going from one mortgage to another, that's called an assignment. And so in that agreement, you signed something that said they were going to and/or assigns the contract or the note over to another mortgage company. So that's an assignment. So when we wholesale a mobile home or you wholesale a house, that's basically what you're doing. You're making the relationship with the buyer you're making the relationship with the seller. You're getting the home under contract for an agreed upon amount. You sign the contract with them, and then you have something called an assignment agreement or wholesale agreement. Then you go out and you advertise, whatever it is that you got under contract, or you contact your investors and say, I have this for this amount. And you're basically going to get enough in there where you have enough cushion where you can make anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 or $20,000 buffer in between. Okay, so on mobile homes, you can get usually anywhere between $4,000 and $8,000 per transaction. So if you get the mobile home for $2,000, you agree to the price with them, you get it under contract, you use your assignment agreement, and then you use some of your different apps like Let Go, 5 Miles, Craigslist. You can also use Facebook Marketplace. Nobody thinks about apps to use, right, for mobile homes.
Right.
Very doable. And then you go and you advertise them, and you advertise it for, let's say, $10,000. You got it under contract for 2. So you have your picture. So basically you put that together, and in the middle, you end up making $8,000 in the middle between those 2 transactions, and it's called a wholesale. And you can do this all day long, every day, and you could do 2 a month and make anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 or $16,000 easily in a month, in a space that nobody else is in. So that was the first thing that I did.
That's incredible. So how did you come up with this? Did some of this come out of the training that you received, or did you stumble into it?
Right. Well, if you remember, when I started, I didn't have credit and I had no money. So when you wholesale, you don't have to have credit and you don't have to have money. Okay.
For the wholesale. Okay.
Right. So I went through the course of learning how to wholesale a house. And then because of my background as a paralegal, I was able to come up with a wholesale mobile home contract, which I now use, which has been tweaked for about 12 different states now.
Oh, really? Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like I said, it's in a space where nobody else is in. And so I always tell people, when you're doing this, start from the beginning. A lot of people, if they have some money, let's say it's a house, they want to jump in and they immediately want to go to fix and flip. Okay. Without learning everything else. Like, you can't jump the line. You need to learn what you need to learn, because you don't know what you don't know. And when you don't know what you don't know, that's when you get in trouble and there's more risk. So the whole point of this, right, is to mitigate our risk. We want to have things that are less risky. And so we want to mitigate our risk as much as possible. So if you start out at step 1, which would be wholesaling mobile homes, then you're going to mitigate that risk. But what that can do for a single mom, for college students just getting out of college, or they're in college now and they want to pay off their debt because they're so strapped with debt. I think I just told you there was a report published by CBS today, or CBS News, that 1 in 8 divorces for marriage are caused by student loan debt.
Student loan, amazing.
This problem this wholesaling mobile homes solves that problem. If you're in areas like Phoenix, it's a bloodbath, right? And so what does Russell Brunson talk about? He talks about finding that blue ocean, right? This is a blue ocean. There's no sharks in this ocean, okay?
It's an amazing blue ocean.
Yeah, there's no sharks in the ocean of wholesaling mobile homes. There isn't.
That's incredible to me that it's such a blue ocean. Now, what's the ramp up period for someone to learn what the steps are necessary just to do this first step of wholesaling? Like, what do people expect? Like, take them 4 months, 3 months to learn it?
Oh, no. To learn how to wholesale, if they are doing like an online training, really the concept, not hard. It's something they can learn in 2 to 4 days.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. That's amazing.
If I'm teaching it, it's something they can learn in 2 to 4 days. I don't know what they can learn from everybody else, but I do know that there's not other people out there teaching wholesaling of mobile homes. So I'm just going to put what my time frame would be on mobile homes, right, for wholesaling. So it'd be 2 to 4 days.
Okay, so your journey, so you learn how to do this wholesaling. You start just making some money on that. Is there this period of time where you're investing in sort of upgrading or improving or renovating these mobile homes as well? So, you talked about that, $8,000 sort of, hey, that's a nice gap there, but really some of that you're going to put back into the property. Is that true? Or?
No, not if you're wholesaling. If you're wholesaling, all you're doing is wholesaling. Here's what Rich Dad teaches, and the book teaches this too. You're going to take the money, and this was part of what I did with my journey. All of my first amount of proceeds that I went when I wholesaled my houses, remember I told you I made about $180,000 from like July 15th to September 23rd. All of that money went in to pay off my debt. So you don't want to be strapped with stuff. So what I would tell people is you don't need money or credit to do a wholesale.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Money and just, you know what I'm saying? Keep 10% of it for yourself if you need it for living. expenses, but just start hitting hard. I mean, if you do 2 wholesales a month, they could have their student loans paid off in like a matter of 4 to 5 months.
That's it. Yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible. I mean, it could serve as a supplement or turn out to become your primary income source.
Absolutely. And this is even relevant to, men. I mean, there's this whole segment of men 45 and older, and they were that middle management tier, right, in corporate jobs. And a lot of them have been laid off, and they go out into the workforce and they're overqualified. And suicide rates among them have doubled among that age group. So even for a guy in that age group, this would basically give him back the ability to provide for his family again.
That's incredible. Now, how do you find these opportunities? So back up, let's say that I've got that experience or that knowledge. I've now taken the course. I've learned about it. How do I go find some opportunity to sell or buy the wholesale?
Well, everybody posts them on 5 Miles. Everybody posts them on Let Go. Everybody posts them on Facebook Marketplace. Go find them. Go look at them.
That's awesome. So you just go do some trolling through those apps and those places, and you can run into those.
Correct. And I give like a step-by-step thing. Like I have a checklist of everything. When you're looking at a mobile home, if you don't know anything about mobile homes, I can tell you how to walk in there and look like a professional. Do you want to know?
So you've developed a system now, is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. So basically, you take a friend with you. So Grant, let's say you're going, take your son with you. And what you tell your son is, all I want you to say is, wow, this is just like the one in Louisiana. That's all he says. Okay? So you walk through it, okay, because it's all, part of the getting a good deal on the psychology of it, right?
Yeah.
And so, you start looking at things and you'll be able to tell, when you're going through a mobile home, you want to step where the doors are and step where the windows are. And if it's soft, then you probably got some issues with subfloor or floor rot. It's probably wet at some point, those kinds of things. And then as you're looking through the home and you're pointing all these things out, what you're doing is you're preparing the seller and their mind for a lower offer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So it's extremely important. It's all about the psychology of it. So it's extremely important. So that's when you're going to make your best deal. The other thing that I do is, Grant, I don't know if you know this, but the American people, they're all very much about give it to me now. They don't want to wait. If they want their mobile home sold for $10,000, but you happen to carry $2,000 cash in your purse and you just lay it on the table in front of them, you'll close that sale 97.8% of the time.
Oh, wow. It's just show me the cash. Huh? You just lay it down. That is incredible. Yes, the American people are that way. In fact, I even think some people in other countries are like that. A lot of people are like that. So a lot of this is the psychology, as you said.
Right,
it's having the right mindset. Right,
and it's going in. So, I mean, and that's what people always ask me, how do you get these mobile homes at $500 and $800 and $1,000 and $2,000? It's because I ask. Remember, I had that conversation in the last podcast about no.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I ask.
You ask. That's really high tech. So let me
if they're in a situation where they need money now, they're going to pounce on that $2,000. They're going to pounce on it.
That's
a 97. Yes, it's a 97.8% close rate.
When you put down the first offer, you're saying you get 97.8% close rate just on the first offer.
Correct.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Have you done, like, before you get there and you look into the property, have you done any sort of background checking on the property itself before you get there, or are you just going and do the visual right there?
Well, I just try to see, I'll pull up the address to try to see their area is, but you analyze mobile homes and mobile home parks completely different than you analyze houses. It's a completely different ball game. And so, but you definitely want to drive the park because that's also going to be the point, right? Mm-hmm. You want to drive the park because you want to see the location. And a lot of times when they list mobile home parks, even when they're listing them for sale, they're going to have the best 2 units up front toward the front. You're not going to see everything else in the back. So you definitely want to go drive for dollars, and you want to go look at that park and see.
Okay, check it out.
And remember that if the home is in a park and it is on a lot, it's great. Do not move the home. You are adding about $4,000 to $8,000 in extra cost that you do not need to do it to if you have it moved. So if you can keep it in the park, keep it in the park.
Leave it there.
I might even get some of my mobile homes for free.
Oh my gosh. Well, so you mentioned a moment ago something about you had a system that you've come up that you've made available. Tell us a little bit about that. What is this?
Right. So, basically, first of all, I created a class called Mobile Home Millions, where I'm actually going to take people through the entire process. In fact, when they come to my 3-day training, we're going to start with wholesaling. I'm going to have about 20 properties available for people to wholesale, 20 deals that I've already located and done, where I'm going to ask permission to bring people to give offers. And then second of all, we're going to go under the mobile home, because people need to know that there's jargon and lingo in our neck of the woods too, in our area. And so, in our niche area, there's jargon to it, just like there's jargon in the military, right? And so they need to know what an underbelly is, what P-traps are, because they're different in mobile homes than houses, believe it or not. And so it's those kind of things that they need to know. So we're going to go under the mobile home. We're going to look at all of that stuff. I am the girl from Texas that doesn't mind getting dirty, muddy, or sweaty. So I'm going to go under the mobile home with them, and we're all going to have our flashlights, and I'm going to be showing them everything about what's under there and what they need to look for when they're in the class. And then we're going to finish with the whole fix and flip process. So as I was telling you earlier, as it stands, people will tell you there's pretty much 3 ways to make money in mobile homes: wholesaling, fix and flipping them and then selling them outright, and then rentals. I have 7 ways. Now I'm using another 8 strategy of 8 different ways to make money with mobile homes.
Wow, so you just barely touched the surface on wholesale.
Absolutely.
Number 1. You got 8 ways.
8 ways to make money.
8 ways. And of the 8, do you have a favorite 2 or 3?
Well, obviously fixing and flipping, and then wholesaling are probably my couple of my favorite. And then my other ones, I just kind of don't want to give away yet.
Sure. So. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Come to the course. In fact, when do you do your next course? When do you do this?
We are actually going to be scheduling that. So I can send you a link to that when we schedule it, and you can post it online. Yeah.
That would be wonderful. That'd be fantastic.
And if somebody's out there and they don't have time for that and they don't want to learn something else, there's a lot of people that love their jobs and they're happy with that. They just need to create wealth. So I actually spent the last 2.5 years going through a process where I have a passive turnkey process. So basically it works like this. An investor invests about $17,000 to $20,000. That goes toward the purchase and rehab of a mobile home. Since I have a buyer's list of almost 700 buyers that want a mobile home, and remember, I do seller financing. I do not do rentals. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But we do seller financing. So they invest in, and then I do the whole process. It takes about 100 days. Okay, for the whole process to be done. And then they're going to yield about 12 to 15% per unit. And so, in a return. And so that's going to be anywhere from $400 to $450 a month for like 5 to 6 years. And they're just going to get it. And it's per $17,000 or $20,000 that they invest. So if you put $100,000 in, and let's just say your payments are roughly, let's just kind of do it on the low end. So let's say your payments are $420 and you put in $100,000, you're getting $2,100 basically a month on revenue in that mobile home. If you were to end those mobile homes, because it's going to yield you about 5 homes. If you were to invest $100,000 in a brick and mortar house, you're already shaking your head, but you know what happens. You're going to put tenants in there, and then you might cash flow for a while, but then something breaks, and then they have to fix it, and it takes over your cash flow. And I'm not saying that rental homes is not a way to go, but you cannot get the numbers that you get out of houses like you can mobile homes.
Yeah.
So imagine at $100,000 on the low end, you're going to basically generate $2,100 a month. And so we pay out quarterly. And so you get quarterly payments. All you do is sit back and collect a check. And I have right now about 42 investors that have been doing that with me since about 6 months into this. And all of them have been yielding their payments. They're all happy and they keep asking me, when's the next deal? When's the next deal? When's the next deal?
That's incredible. Okay, so there's multiple ways to get involved. I could get involved either as someone that's going out and finding the deals and closing them. That's when I want to be the active investor, if you will. Or I could be passive, put the cash over, and then you and your organization take it from there. And that's amazing.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And so what we do is I have basically a specific process, because in Texas, we don't have titles. We have something called statements of ownership. And so there's all these rules with Texas. So what I do is I tell people we're going to substitute collateral. So let's say that for some reason we have a unit, one of their units, for whatever reason, they move, something happens, they get sick, they can't pay. We're going to put another buyer in there and you're still going to be yielding those returns, or we're going to put you into another note that's actually paying. So I have a whole system set up on a way to do that, because I do have a corporation, and now my company is 3 years old, and I am licensed through multiple states to do to buy and sell mobile homes. So we're able to do that, where we can do substitution of collateral, and it just flows. And I just have very happy investors.
That's it. That's an incredible. Just in 3 years, you've grown this, and you've seen. Okay, Chimene, that's amazing.
Right, and this is just stuff I'm doing here. This isn't even my system that I'm going to be creating for my Ireland deals. We just shipped 42 homes to New Zealand from Ireland. So, this isn't even my system that I'm going to create for investors internationally. This is just the system that I'm doing here in the U.S.
In the U.S. That's incredible. So you see this continuing to sprout throughout other countries.
Exactly. And the other thing that I've done too is I've had multiple people do this in their IRAs. So I have probably about, maybe 30 or 32 investors that have done this system within their self-directed IRA. So I tell people that's a great way to build your wealth. Do it through your IRA. I work with them all the time. I've worked with Equity Trust. I've worked with IRA Club. I've worked with, now we're working with Horizon, Quest. You name it, I probably worked with them. iPlan Group is another one. So we've worked with multiple IRA companies to get this system going and these deals going. So it's just been amazing. And again, because it's personal property and we're not doing rentals, it's not taxed like rentals. So it's a completely different ballgame. There's a lot of benefits to it.
That's huge. So obviously the tax bracket's different, it's lower, and you're not penalized as much. Okay, so let me switch hats now, and let me sound more like, I don't know, Chimene. I got some concerns and some objections. You ready? All right, this is the Rocky session. You ready for this part?
Okay.
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, hats on backwards. All right, here we go. This is the Rocky session. Okay. 3 kinds of objections. You ready? All right. We'll do the Brunsonisms. Okay, ready?
Okay,
all right. The vehicle